requiring darkness to sprout. Just as a gardener knows not to constantly dig up seeds to check their progress, the wise manifestor understands the value of leaving dreams undisturbed in their energetic soil. Ancient practice. Select one image that represents your deepest aspiration. Place it where only you can see it, perhaps beneath a beautiful cloth or inside a special folder. Visit this image in private moments, feeling its energy in silence. Make no mention of it to others, allowing its power to build undiluted by external energies. Continue this sacred practice until the day you notice your hidden dream taking form in the physical world. Think of your desires as delicate seeds requiring darkness to sprout. Just as a gardener knows not to constantly dig up seeds to check their progress, the wise manifestor understands the value of leaving dreams undisturbed in their energetic soil. Ancient practice. Select one image that represents your deepest aspiration. Place it where only you can see it, perhaps beneath a beautiful cloth or inside a special folder. Visit this image in private moments, feeling its energy in silence. Make no mention of it to others, allowing its power to build undiluted by external energies. Continue this sacred practice until the day you notice your hidden dream taking form in the physical world, as naturally as a flower breaking through soil to reach sunlight. Chapter 13. The Tone of Receiving. In a bustling marketplace, a merchant offered a weaver a bag of gold for her exquisite tapestry. "Oh, it's nothing special," she said, pushing away both the praise and payment. Each time she diminished her work's worth, her prosperity diminished in turn. The merchant withdrew, taking his gold elsewhere, leaving the weaver with her beautifully crafted yet unsold creation. The universe speaks through the language of giving and receiving. When you close your heart to compliments, you simultaneously seal the channels through which abundance flows. Every deflected thank you becomes a barrier. Every dismissed acknowledgement transforms into an energetic wall between you and your natural state of prosperity. Your relationship with receiving forms the foundation of your financial flow. Money, in its essence, represents received value, a crystallized form of appreciation. When you struggle to accept kind words, you unconsciously broadcast resistance to all forms of incoming abundance. The universe cannot differentiate between your resistance to compliments and your resistance to wealth. Both energies stem from the same root. Consider the wisdom shared by ancient merchants. The closed hand cannot receive. This truth extends beyond physical gestures to encompass your energetic stance toward life's offerings. Each time you diminish your worth or deflect recognition, you tighten your energetic grip, constricting the very channel through which prosperity wishes to flow. A wandering potter discovered this truth through quiet observation. For years, his standard response to praise had been, "It's just a simple pot." His creations, though beautiful, barely earned enough to sustain him. One day, witnessing a child's pure joy upon receiving a gift, he noticed how the child's simple acceptance multiplied everyone's happiness. From that moment, he chose to respond to every compliment with gentle acceptance, a quiet thank you that acknowledged both the giver and his own worth. Within weeks, his pottery began attracting not just praise but prosperous patrons. His shift in receiving created a shift in his reality. He hadn't changed his craft. He had changed his capacity to receive. The language of acceptance speaks directly to the universal flow of abundance. When you trust enough to receive fully, whether it's a kind word, a helpful gesture, or monetary reward, you align with the natural current of prosperity. This alignment transforms your energy from resistance to receptivity, from scarcity to abundance. Ancient practice. Rest your hands on your lap, palms facing upward. As you breathe deeply, imagine each compliment, each gesture of kindness, each moment of abundance as golden light pooling in your open palms. Don't grasp, simply allow it to collect. Feel the warmth of receiving without resistance. Practice this whenever acknowledgement comes your way, letting each moment of acceptance strengthen your prosperity channel. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14, The Soundproof Dream. In a small coastal town, Polly Ray Lauder rushed to share her business vision with her family over Sunday dinner. With each skeptical glance and cautionary word from her relatives, her once bright enthusiasm dimmed like a candle in wind. That seems risky, they warned. Better stick to what you know. Their well-meaning doubt seeped into her dreams until they began to fade. The universe speaks in whispers, and your dreams are sacred seeds that require protection in their earliest stages. Just as a gardener knows not to expose tender shoots to harsh elements, you must guard your visions when they first take root in your consciousness. Consider how Henry Earl Tolliver transformed his circumstances through the power of sacred silence. While others shared their plans widely, seeking approval, Henry held his financial inspirations close. He wrote his ideas in a leather-bound journal, reviewing them only in solitude. He visualized his success in the quiet hours before dawn, letting his dreams strengthen in the shelter of silence. When questioned about his plans, Henry offered simple responses that revealed nothing of his inner work. He understood that dreams shared too soon often wither under the weight of others' fears and doubts. Only after his ideas had grown strong and sure within his own mind did he begin to speak of them. By then, his certainty radiated like a beacon, naturally drawing investors who sensed his unshakable conviction. The universe responds not to words, but to the energy that underlies them. When you protect your vision in its fragile early stages, you allow it to develop its own magnetic force, like a seed that must grow strong roots before pushing through soil into sunlight. Your dreams require a period of protected growth. Your visions are intimate communications between you and the infinite. They arrive as gentle nudges, quiet inspirations meant first for your eyes only. Each time you speak of them clearly, you risk diluting their power with the mixed energies of others' beliefs and fears. The secret lies in nurturing your dreams in the fertile soil of silence until they grow too strong to be uprooted by doubt. When the roots of your vision run deep enough, no amount of skepticism can shake them. Only then will the universe orchestrate the perfect moment for revelation. Practice. Create a special time each day for private communion with your dreams. Write them in a journal kept only for your eyes. When others inquire about your plans, smile knowingly and change the subject. Share your vision only when you feel its truth resonating so strongly within you that no external opinion could possibly diminish its light. Until then, let your dreams grow in the sacred space of silence. Chapter 15. The Pulse of Possession. In the bustling marketplace of an ancient city, a merchant named Bonnie Gale Stroud spent her days counting empty baskets, lamenting the spices and silks she could not afford to fill them. Each morning, she would gaze longingly at her neighbors' overflowing stalls, while clutching her own meager inventory, speaking endlessly of all she lacked. The voice that claims emptiness becomes a vessel that can hold nothing else. When you focus relentlessly on absence, you broadcast a frequency that pushes abundance further from your shore. This creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. The very act of declaring what you do not have ensures its continued evasion. The ancient wisdom teaches that possession begins in consciousness, not circumstance. What you claim in the silent chambers of your mind gradually materializes in the visible world. The universe responds not to what your hands hold, but to what your thoughts embrace as already yours. In a quiet village among rolling hills, Gordon Lee Varner understood this truth. Each dawn, he would walk the winding paths of his modest farm, breathing in the morning air with peaceful certainty. Though his barn stood half empty, his thoughts remained full. Everything I need already belongs to me, he would think, allowing this knowing to settle into his bones. He never spoke of what was missing, focusing instead on the quiet conviction that all necessities were flowing toward him naturally. Within months, neighbors began offering partnerships, merchants sought his counsel, and opportunities arose as naturally as the sun. His watchful ease, magnetic forces of prosperity, drawn to the unwavering signal of his inner ownership. This parable reveals the hidden mechanism of manifestation. Feeling whole precedes physical wholeness. When you assume the consciousness of having, the having must follow. It is an immutable law, as certain as gravity. Your relationship with abundance is like a mirror. It can only reflect back the image you hold within. If you see yourself as lacking, lack becomes your reflection. But when you walk through life with the calm certainty that everything you require is already yours, reality has no choice but to align with this truth, the ancient practice of inner treasury. As the first light touches the horizon each morning, sit in perfect stillness. Close your eyes and speak these words silently within. I thank the infinite source for already providing everything I need this day. Let this gratitude sink deeply into your being until you feel the truth of it in every cell. Carry this quiet certainty with you as you move through your day, letting it infuse every interaction and exchange. Do not speak of what you lack. Simply hold the knowing that all is well, all is provided, all is flowing perfectly. This practice, maintained with dedication, becomes a beacon that guides abundance to your door. Chapter 16. The Quiet Market. In the heart of a bustling marketplace, Edith May Rickard stood outside her shop, handing out flyers to every passerby. Please, I need clients, she would say, her voice tinged with desperation. My prices are the lowest in town. Day after day, she watched potential customers hurry past, avoiding eye contact. The more frantically she reached out, the faster they seemed to scatter. The universe speaks in frequencies, not words. When you broadcast scarcity, you create ripples of repulsion in the invisible field of abundance. Your energy precedes your offer, and urgency carries the vibration of lack. This truth remains unchanged since the ancient merchants first discovered that wealth flows not to those who chase, but to those who attract. Consider Albert Dean Kirksey, who owned a similar shop 3 streets away. He never spoke of meeting clients. Instead, each morning before opening his doors, he would sit in peaceful meditation, feeling the natural flow of prosperity. "My perfect clients find me easily," he whispered to himself, then focused solely on perfecting his craft. Within weeks, customers began arriving as if guided by an unseen hand. They spoke of just knowing they should visit his shop. The law operates with mathematical precision. Calm certainty magnetizes, while desperate pursuit repels. When you trust in the abundant nature of the universe, you align with its natural flow. Your energy becomes a beacon that guides precisely the right opportunities to your door. This principle extends beyond commerce into every aspect of life. The universe responds not to your words, but to your inner knowing. When you silently hold the frequency of having enough, more than enough flows to you. This is the paradox of attraction. It is your quiet confidence, not your loud requests, that draws abundance to you. Think of yourself as a lighthouse. A lighthouse never begs ships to come closer. It simply shines. Its unwavering beam is sufficient to guide vessels safely to shore. Similarly, your steady faith in abundance, held quietly within, naturally draws the right circumstances to you. The more you relax into the knowing that all you need comes to you easily, the more swiftly it arrives. This is not passive waiting, but active allowing. It is the difference between chasing after butterflies and creating a garden they naturally visit. Ancient practice of silent attraction. Each morning, before beginning your day's work, find a quiet moment. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Picture your services or offerings being chosen with natural ease by those who value them most. Feel the peaceful certainty of knowing your gifts are needed and appreciated. Then release this vision completely, carrying only its serene energy into your activities. This practice plants seeds in the fertile soil of universal law, while your calm attention waters them into manifestation. Throughout your day, whenever thoughts of scarcity arise, return to this morning's peaceful knowing. Let your work itself be your only advertisement, and let your energy of quiet confidence be your most powerful attractor. Chapter 17, The Stillwater Principle. In the quietest hours before dawn, Naomi June Butcher sat surrounded by notebooks filled with business ideas, her eyes weary from endless research. Each day brought new schemes and strategies, another course to purchase, another system to master. "I must do more," she whispered frantically, adding items to her already overwhelming to-do list. Yet with each new venture, prosperity seemed to drift further away, like a mirage shimmering just beyond reach. The universal truth reveals itself. Abundance flows not from constant motion, but from centered stillness. Like a pond disturbed by too many stones, a mind cluttered with schemes cannot reflect the clear image of wealth. It is in the spaces between effort that true inspiration arrives, carrying the seeds of natural prosperity. Consider Lester Boyd Ashcraft, who abandoned his frenzied pursuit of opportunity for daily walks in nature. At first, the silence felt uncomfortable, even wasteful. But as days passed, something shifted. His mind, no longer racing between possibilities, began to say, In this newfound clarity, genuine insights emerged effortlessly. During one such walk, he noticed how sunlight filtered through leaves, inspiring an elegant solution to a problem in his industry. This single insight, born of stillness, became more valuable than months of forced brainstorming. Money, like water, flows most freely across smooth surfaces. When we cease churning the waters of our consciousness with endless schemes and strategies, we create the conditions for natural abundance to flow. The universe whispers its secrets to those who know how to listen. The agitated mind broadcasts interference, drowning out the subtle frequencies of opportunity. But in stillness, we become receptive to the perfect timing of universal intelligence. Our role is not to chase every possibility, but to maintain the pristine clarity that attracts aligned opportunities. Let your mind become like a mountain lake at dawn, still, receptive, and perfectly reflecting the light of possibility. In this state, you need not pursue abundance. It finds you naturally, drawn to the power of your centered presence. Practice. Find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. Sit comfortably and close your eyes. Allow your breath to slow and deepen naturally. Imagine yourself as a serene lake, perfectly still and reflective. Feel abundance already moving toward you like gentle ripples across the water. Maintain this peaceful awareness for several minutes, knowing that in your stillness, you become magnetic to prosperity. Practice this daily, preferably at dawn or dusk, when the world itself grows quiet. Chapter 18, The Golden Interval. In the quiet village of Millbrook, Lydia Ruth Fain paced her garden each morning, checking for sprouts that hadn't yet broken soil. She had planted seeds of opportunity, networking, proposals, applications. Yet the ground remained stubbornly bare. With each passing day, her shoulders grew heavier with worry, her thoughts spinning endless scenarios of failure. The ancient wisdom reminds us that between planting and harvest lies the sacred interval, a space that measures not time, but trust. This gap between action and manifestation serves as the universe's crucible, where faith is refined and strengthened. Like the space between breaths, this pause holds purpose beyond our mortal understanding. In the bustling port town of Harbor Haven, Dennis Glenn Luttrell understood this truth. After launching his maritime consulting business, he faced weeks of silence. Yet instead of anxiously checking his phone, he walked along the shore each sunrise, breathing in the salt air with the same satisfaction as if his calendar overflowed with clients. He treated the waiting period as a celebration, an opportunity to strengthen his certainty that everything was already in motion. The universe has received my intention, he would whisper to the waves. My part is done. Now I watch with joy as the pieces align. Within a month, 3 major shipping companies sought his expertise, each contract more generous than he had imagined. The teaching reveals that patience carries its own frequency, not the low vibration of resignation, but the high resonance of assured expectation. When you worry during the gap, you broadcast doubt into the very space where your manifestation is taking form. But when you treat waiting as a precious gift,
number ain't working or what's up?
time to deepen your trust,
But in certain spots, I feel
maintain the perfect frequency for receiving.
And I'm by the bone, you can feel that
Your
too.
ability to remain peaceful in the pause determines how swiftly abundance can reach you. Like a still pond that perfectly reflects the sky, A quiet mind most clearly shows the universe what you wish to attract. Anxiety creates ripples that distort this reflection, while calm certainty holds the image steady until it materializes. The practice. When manifestation seems delayed, find a quiet space and close your eyes. Breathe deeply and whisper these words with serene conviction. It's unfolding perfectly now. Continue this gentle affirmation until you feel relief flood your body, restoring your natural magnetic state. This ancient practice reminds your energy field that divine timing requires no acceleration, only trust. Chapter 19. The Echo of Enough. In the heart of a bustling marketplace, Carrie Lou Millington darted between stalls, her eyes constantly searching for more opportunities, better deals, additional ways to increase her wealth. With each step, her energy broadcast a desperate frequency of not enough. Though her pockets held sufficient coins, her spirit emanated lack, and merchants subtly turned away, sensing her unsettled vibration. The universe responds not to our actions, but to our inner certainty. When we chase abundance, we unknowingly declare its absence. This truth echoes through the ages. Contentment creates the very frequency that attracts more. Like a garden that flourishes best when tended with peaceful appreciation rather than anxious hovering. Wealth grows in the soil of satisfaction. Roger Floyd Pippin understood this principle without naming it. Each morning, he would sit in his modest shop, running his hands across the smooth wooden counter, and whisper with genuine feeling, "I have all I need and more." He spoke these words not as a magical incantation, but as a recognition of truth. His voice carried no strain, no pleading, only the quiet resonance of someone stating what they know to be real. Within weeks, customers began appearing at unusual hours, seeking his services. Business associates proposed unexpected partnerships. Resources flowed as naturally as water finding its course. The key lay not in Roger's words, but in his authentic embodiment of sufficiency. This mirrors an eternal law. Genuine contentment generates natural expansion. When you rest in the knowledge of enough, you emit the frequency that magnetizes more. It is the paradox that has puzzled seekers through the ages, that having begins with the feeling of already possessing. Your relationship with what you have determines what flows toward you. Those who grasp for more while feeling poor rarely find it, while those who appreciate their current resources often discover abundance multiplying effortlessly around them. Ancient practice. As the sun traces its path across the sky, pause throughout your day to acknowledge each resource that supports your journey. The chair beneath you, the air you breathe, the tools at your disposal. Express quiet gratitude for their presence. Let each recognition deepen your sense of being provided for. This practice creates a center of calm satisfaction from which abundance naturally expands. Speak softly to yourself. I have all I need and more. Allowing these words to arise from genuine recognition rather than desperate hope. Feel the truth of sufficiency in this moment, and watch as the universe mirrors your contentment with increasing prosperity. Chapter 20. The Secret Exchange. In the bustling marketplace of an ancient city, a merchant named Nora Del Papin arranged her wares each morning with mounting frustration. Her voice grew louder with each passing customer, her words more insistent. "You won't find better prices," she called. "Let me convince you of the quality." Yet the more she pushed, the more people seemed to drift away, leaving her stall quiet and her goods untouched. The universe speaks through the language of energy. not through the clamor of desperate persuasion. When you grasp at customers with words of need, you broadcast a frequency that pushes away the very abundance you seek. The art of exchange flows not through convincing, but through connecting. Vernon Claude Hazlitt discovered this truth in his own marketplace stalls. Rather than filling the air with promises and pleas, he cultivated a space of peaceful attention. His eyes met each visitor's gaze with genuine warmth. His words emerged sparingly, like precious drops of wisdom. Instead of selling, he listened to their stories, their needs, their unspoken wishes. In that listening, something magical occurred. His sales doubled and tripled, as though drawn by an invisible tide of trust. This mirrors an eternal principle. Wealth flows through channels of energetic resonance. When you release the need to convince, you open space for authentic connection. Money responds not to the loudest voice, but to the truest vibration of value. Consider how water flows, not by force, but by finding its natural path. Similarly, prosperity moves through the path of least resistance, through the silent spaces where genuine exchange can occur. Your role is not to push the river, but to create the conditions where it naturally flows. The second merchant's success stems from understanding that every transaction is first an energetic agreement before it becomes a physical exchange. By approaching each interaction with quiet generosity, he allowed the natural laws of abundance to operate unimpeded. His silence spoke louder than any sales pitch, his listening more compelling than any promise. This wisdom echoes through centuries. True wealth trades hands not through clever words, but through empathy's silence. When you step back from the need to convince, you step into the flow of natural abundance. The universe already knows what each soul needs. Your task is simply to hold space for that divine orchestration. Ancient practice. Before your next exchange or sale, pause in silence. Place your hands over your heart and whisper inwardly. This interaction serves both giver and receiver in perfect balance. Let this truth settle into your being before speaking. Then approach each transaction as a sacred dance of mutual benefit, knowing that when energy aligns, words become secondary to the silent symphony of exchange. Part 3. The Quiet Command of Fortune. Chapter 21. The Voice That Orders Supply. In a remote mountain temple, a woman named Esther Rose Cochran would spend hours each day repeating her prayers, her voice growing more desperate with each repetition. She believed that the more she pleaded, the more likely her desires would manifest. Yet with each anxious request, her dreams seemed to drift further from reach, like leaves scattered by an insistent wind. The ancient law reveals a truth often overlooked. The universe responds not to the volume of requests, but to the vibration of certainty. When you speak from desperation, you transmit the frequency of lack. Each repeated plea announces to the cosmic forces that you doubt their first receipt of your desire. Milton Q. Fouts understood this subtle principle. In his modest dwelling, he would arise before dawn, center himself in stillness, and speak his intention once with quiet authority. Then, like a master conductor who knows the orchestra will follow his initial gesture, he would step back into silence. His requests manifested with remarkable speed. New opportunities, unexpected resources, fortuitous connections. as though the universe delighted in responding to his elegant brevity. This mirrors the wisdom of the ages. A single drop of pure intention carries more power than an ocean of desperate pleading. When you speak with the calm assurance of one who knows their word is law, the universe moves mountains to align with your command. Think of how a master chef seasons a dish with precise, measured movements. Too much salt ruins the meal. Too many requests dilute the power of your intention. The art lies not in repetition, but in the clarity and conviction of the initial command. Your word, when spoken from certainty, becomes a seed planted in fertile soil. You wouldn't dig up a seed each day to check its progress or replant it repeatedly. Such actions would only disturb its natural growth. Similarly, your desires, once properly planted in the cosmic field, require only your trust in their unfoldment. Milton's success stemmed from understanding that the universe operates like a perfectly efficient postal system. Once you've properly addressed and sent your letter, checking the mailbox every hour won't speed its delivery. His quiet confidence after making a single request created the perfect conditions for manifestation. Ancient practice. Sit in the stillness of dawn or dusk. Center yourself until you feel the pulse of universal power within. Speak your desire once, with the serene authority of one who knows they are heard. Then, rather than repeating your request, simply say thank you and enter the silence of absolute trust. Throughout your day, whenever thoughts of your desire arise, replace anxiety with gratitude, knowing unseen forces are already arranging for good. The power lies not in repetition, but in the unwavering certainty of your initial command. Just as a king needs only speak once to set the entire kingdom in motion, your aligned word, spoken once with authority, activates all the forces of creation on your behalf. Ask once from certainty, then let gratitude hold the space instead of repetition, trusting invisible clerks already packaging your answer. Chapter 22. The Breeze of Worthiness. In the quietude of dawn, Hilda Jean Winship knelt in prayer, her whispered words carrying the weight of unworthiness. I am nothing, she would murmur, believing this self-diminishment pleased the heavens. Yet with each utterance of humility, her fortunes dwindled further, as though the universe merely echoed her own estimation. The law of attraction operates through the subtle frequencies of self-value. When you speak to yourself with quiet dignity, you align with abundance's natural flow. Your worth need not be proclaimed from mountaintops. It must simply resonate within the chambers of your own heart. Everett Cole Ramey discovered this truth through an ancient practice passed down by those who understood wealth's deeper mysteries. Each morning, before the world stirred, he would stand before his mirror and silently acknowledge his inherent value. I deserve ease, he would think, letting the words settle into his bones rather than escape his lips. He carried this private knowing like a golden key in his pocket, never showing it, yet always feeling its presence. Within months, his workplace dynamics shifted. Without fanfare or self-promotion, superior positions opened to him. Those in authority began seeking his counsel, drawn by an inexplicable magnetism that emanated from his quiet confidence. The universe responds not to volume, but to vibration. Your worth speaks loudest when held in sacred silence. Think of a masterpiece in a museum. It needs no voice to declare its value. Its mere presence commands respect. Similarly, your inherent worth requires no external validation or constant affirmation to others. When you replace neatness with quiet dignity, you realign with abundance's natural order. This is not pride, it is truth. The flower does not apologize for blooming, nor does the star dim its light for fear of shining too brightly. Ancient practice. Before engaging with any financial matter, whether entering a bank, opening a bill, or discussing business, pause in stillness. Place your hand over your heart and silently affirm, I walk in dignity and deserve life's grace. Let this truth settle into your being without speaking it aloud. Practice this until your worth becomes an unspoken presence that precedes you into every room, every transaction, every opportunity. Chapter 23. The Shadow of Comparison. In the heart of a bustling city, May Tilly Starks spent countless hours each evening scrolling through social media, watching her more prosperous friends showcase their achievements. With each swipe, her spirit diminished, as though their success somehow subtracted from her own potential. Her fingers trembled slightly as she gazed at vacation photos, new home announcements, and celebration dinners she wasn't invited to attend. The wealth she yearned for seemed to flow everywhere except toward her. Yet this common habit carries a hidden truth. Comparison acts as a reverse prayer, pushing away the very abundance you seek to attract. When you measure your journey against another's destination, you speak in the language of lack, and the universe can only echo that frequency back to you. Consider how Clarence Boyd Sutter transformed this pattern. Where once he felt the familiar sting of envy at others' accomplishments, he began a sacred practice. Each time news of another's success reached him, he would pause, close his eyes, and whisper genuine praise for their achievement. I celebrate your blessing, he would say softly, allowing true joy to fill his heart. At first, this felt mechanical, even painful. But as days passed into weeks, something remarkable began to unfold. The very act of blessing others' prosperity created space for his own to emerge. Opportunities that had remained hidden suddenly became visible. His consulting practice, which had plateaued for years, began attracting high-value clients. Projects that once eluded him now saw his expertise. The ancient law reveals itself. What you genuinely celebrate for others, you activate within your own field. Each blessing offered becomes a seed planted in your garden of possibility. Every genuine congratulation ripples back as expanded potential in your own life. The universe responds not to your words of praise, but to the vibration of abundance you generate when you free yourself from comparison's chains. When you can sincerely delight in another's good fortune, you broadcast a signal that says, I trust in the unlimited nature of prosperity. This is the subtle art of energetic alignment, the ability to see others' wealth not as a threat to your own, but as evidence of the abundance available to all. Like a great river of prosperity, it flows endlessly, offering enough current for every vessel to rise. Practice. When you notice the impulse to compare arising, pause and take 3 gentle breaths. Then, with eyes closed, softly murmur, good for them, good for me too. Let this phrase become the bridge from comparison to celebration, from lack to abundance. Repeat this blessing until you feel the shift from envy to genuine admiration. This simple practice transmutes the heavy energy of comparison into the light frequency of alignment, opening invisible doors to your own prosperity. Chapter 24, The Language of Luxury. In a quaint village where cobblestone streets wound between ancient stone buildings, a woman named Olive Faye Ralston lived in deliberate simplicity. Each time she passed the antique shop's window with its gleaming silver and crystal, she would turn away, muttering about wasteful extravagance. "Who needs such unnecessary things?" she would say, hurrying past in her worn clothing. Her home reflected this attitude: bare walls, simple wooden chairs, minimal comforts. She took pride in calling it practical, yet her spirit dimmed in these austere surroundings. The universe whispers its wisdom through beauty, for elegance is not vanity, but rather the natural expression of life's abundance. Just as a flower does not apologize for its petals, nor does a peacock for its plumage. True prosperity embraces both simplicity and splendor in perfect balance. Ralph Henry Lassiter understood this truth. Walking through the same village streets, he would pause to admire the play of light through stained glass windows. In quiet moments, he traced the craftsmanship of carved doorways with appreciative eyes. Though his current means were modest, he never rejected beauty's presence. In his small apartment, he placed a single fresh rose in a simple vase, honoring both economy and elegance. As Ralph cultivated this private appreciation, his life began to shift. A client invited him to manage their art gallery. A forgotten family heirloom surfaced, carrying both beauty and value. An unexpected inheritance brought him a townhouse with intricate architectural details. The universe responded to his unspoken recognition of refinement. Time would reveal that those who reject beauty often find themselves rejected by opportunity. Yet those who silently honor life's finer expressions, without attachment or display, naturally draw those qualities into their experience. When you deny elegance, you deny the universe's natural inclination toward excellence. When you embrace it, quietly, sincerely, without need for validation, you align with prosperity's inherent grace. Ancient wisdom practice. Find a moment each day to stand before something beautiful, whether a flower, a well-crafted object, or a sunset. Let your eyes rest upon it in quiet appreciation. Breathe in its essence without judgment or desire to possess. Simply whisper inwardly, "I am one with all beauty and abundance." This private communion aligns your energy with the natural elegance of the universe, allowing prosperity to flow through channels of refined awareness. Chapter 25, The Hidden River of Action. Along the bustling market street, Essie Pearl Landrum stood frozen before shop windows, waiting for divine signs to indicate her next business move. Day after day, she sought omens in cloud patterns, number sequences, and chance encounters. "When the time is right," she would say, "the universe will show me exactly what to do." Yet as weeks turned to months, her dreams remained suspended in the mist of inaction. The ancient wisdom speaks clearly on this matter. Money flows not through waiting, but through the sacred marriage of inner certainty and outer movement. Like water, wealth requires channels through which to flow. These channels are carved by inspired action, not frantic activity, but motion born from quiet knowing. Gregory Wade Epperson understood this truth. Each morning he sat in silence until a gentle nudge arose within. When it came, he acted without announcement or fanfare. One such morning, he felt drawn to take a different route to work. This led him past a small bookshop where, through the window, he glimpsed a volume on international trade. Following his quiet instinct, he purchased it. Within its chapters lay information that would transform his import business. Another morning, the impulse came to contact an old colleague. No logical reason existed, just a whisper of rightness. That single call opened doors to partnerships that would multiply his income threefold. He never spoke of these nudges, never explained his choices. He simply moved in harmony with his inner guidance, letting results speak for themselves. The universe operates through this paradox.
You grab
The
that
more
first.
quietly we act on our intuition, the more powerfully mind responds.
Time for
The
it.
size
No,
of the
it's time
action
for it.
matters,
No, not
but
yet.
the certainty
I'm
behind
finna shade after this last
each
head.
step taken from this place of knowing.
That's probably what it's gonna be time. Definitely down here in this
Creating
area.
currents of
Or probably
prosperity
like right
that
here.
eventually become visible to all. When you find yourself waiting for perfect conditions, remember, the sign you seek is often the impulse to
Shit I
move.
already did.
The universe speaks through subtle promptings, not
But she said she
dramatic
ain't been hit
displays.
for
Your
Yeah, I
willingness to
really
act
feel
on
that
these
this whole
whispers
session so far.
demonstrates faith more powerfully than any amount of waiting. Sacred practice. Throughout this day, tune into the subtle impulses arising within you. When you feel a gentle nudge to take action, no matter how small, respond immediately. As you move, silently affirm, "This is my flow." Whether it's making an unexpected phone call, exploring a new location, or reaching out to connect, let your movement become proof of your faith. Do not explain your actions to others. Let the results speak through the silence of your certainty. Chapter 26, The Secret Room of Gratitude. In the bustling marketplace, Clementine D. Pollard maintained two distinct voices. To the world, she spoke of struggles and setbacks, sharing tales of difficulty with anyone who would listen. Yet in her private moments, genuine gratitude filled her heart for the small mercies that graced her path. This split vibration created interference patterns in the ethereal field of manifestation, like two waves canceling each other's power. The ancient scrolls speak of a profound truth. Gratitude holds its greatest potency when preserved in silence. When thanks remain unspoken to the outer world, they gather force like water behind a dam, eventually breaking forth as tangible blessings. Orville Jack Spurlock discovered this principle through an inner knowing. Each morning, before the sun touched the horizon, he would sit alone in his modest study. There, in the sacred stillness, he would whisper thanks for prosperity not yet visible to mortal eyes. He gave praise for abundant harvests while his fields lay bare, expressed gratitude for thriving business relationships before contracts were signed. Never did he speak of these private ceremonies of thanksgiving. He understood that gratitude, like a precious perfume, loses its essence when exposed too freely to the air. Instead, he let his thankfulness build quietly, day after day, creating an invisible magnetic field that began drawing circumstances into alignment with his inner vision. Within months, those unwitnessed prayers bore witness to themselves. Crops flourished beyond expectation. Business alliances formed with remarkable ease, and opportunities arose as naturally as dawn follows darkness. Still, he maintained his practice of silent appreciation, understanding that public proclamations of success would only diminish the power of his private praise. Through this story, we glimpse a universal law. When gratitude remains unseated by human doubt or validation, it grows pure and powerful. The universe responds not to our public declarations, but to the authentic vibration we maintain in solitude. Your relationship with abundance transforms when you create an inner sanctuary of thanksgiving, untouched by external circumstances. This sacred space, known only to you and the infinite, becomes the womb where future blessings take form. Sacred practice. Create within your mind a private chamber dedicated solely to thanksgiving. Let this be your inner temple where gratitude flows freely, untainted by the world's doubts or demands. Retreat to this space whenever anxiety or lack thoughts arise. Here, speak your thanks for that which exists in potential, holding each blessing as if already manifested. Keep this practice entirely to yourself, allowing its power to build in sacred silence. Chapter 27, The Mirror of Mastery. In a bustling marketplace of knowledge, Phoebe Ray Timms rushed from workshop to workshop, her arms laden with certificates and notebooks. Each new teaching seemed to whisper of yet another secret she hadn't mastered, another technique she needed to perfect. The more she learned, the more insufficient she felt, creating an endless cycle of seeking that left her perpetually starting anew. The universe speaks through patterns, and in Phoebe's case, it revealed a truth about the nature of mastery. Each new course temporarily lifted her spirits, only to leave her hungry for more validation. A constant search for external wisdom masked a deeper truth. That true knowledge already resided within, waiting to be acknowledged rather than acquired. When you chase learning endlessly, you broadcast a frequency of incompleteness. This vibration attracts more situations that confirm your perceived lack of readiness. The secret lies not in accumulating more information, but in recognizing the wisdom already present within your consciousness. Raymond Lloyd Weatherly discovered this truth during a moment of quiet revelation. After years of pursuing advanced degrees and certifications, he paused one morning and whispered to himself, "I already know what I need." This simple shift in his inner dialogue transformed his relationship with learning. Instead of approaching each new opportunity from a place of lack, Raymond began to see them as chances to express the knowledge he already possessed. When he encountered challenges in his work, rather than immediately seeking outside guidance, he would first turn inward with quiet confidence. This subtle change in his energy field created a remarkable shift. Mentors began appearing naturally in his path, drawn to his self-assured vibration rather than desperate seeking. The wisdom in Raymond's experience lies in understanding that mastery isn't about endless accumulation. It's about acknowledging completion. When you declare yourself complete internally, the universe responds by presenting opportunities that allow your innate wisdom to flourish. This truth transcends mere positive thinking. It touches the fundamental law of attraction. What you believe about your capabilities becomes the frequency you broadcast. When you trust your inner knowing, external validation naturally aligns with your self-perception. Sacred practice. After each learning experience, find a quiet moment alone. Place your hand over your heart and whisper these words. This wisdom now lives within me, fully integrated and ready to serve. Feel the truth of these words settling into your being, completing the circle of knowledge. This practice transforms mere information into embodied understanding, allowing you to move forward with quiet certainty rather than constant seeking. Chapter 28. The Diamond of Decisions. In the bustling marketplace of a distant kingdom, a merchant named Lucinda Joy Mott stood frozen between two paths. Before her lay an opportunity to expand her textile trade to new territories, yet she remained caught in the web of indecision. Days turned to weeks as she weighed endless possibilities, seeking perfect certainty before taking action. Her wealth, like water held too long in cupped hands, began to seep away through the cracks of hesitation. The universe speaks in the language of decision. Each choice you make sends ripples through the fabric of creation, announcing your relationship with abundance. Indecision is a whisper of doubt that echoes through your reality, while decisive action rings like a clear bell through the chambers of possibility. When you postpone choices, you tell the universe you are not ready to receive. But when you choose with conviction, you declare yourself worthy of prosperity's flow. In the same marketplace, Terence Paul Covington understood this hidden law. Where others saw risk, he recognized opportunity's invitation. Each morning, he made swift, clear decisions about his ventures, treating each choice as a declaration of his alignment with abundance. He moved through the world not with reckless haste, but with the quiet authority of one who knows that decision itself is a form of wealth. I choose this, he would say softly to himself. And with those words, invisible doors would swing open. His decisive energy became a magnet, drawing opportunities and resources toward him with remarkable speed. Even when faced with uncertainty, he understood that a clear choice, even if imperfect, held more power than perfect hesitation. The law reveals itself. Decisiveness is the language of manifestation. Each choice you make is a statement to the universe about your readiness to receive. When you decide with conviction, you align yourself with the natural flow of abundance. The universe responds not to the content of your choices, but to the energy of your decisive action. Ancient practice. Select 3 decisions you've been postponing. Sit in silence, eyes closed, and feel the weight of indecision in your body. Now, one by one, make each choice with clear intention. After each decision, speak silently. I have chosen, and in this choice, I declare my power. Feel the energy shift as you move from hesitation to authority. Let each decision ring through your being like a bell announcing abundance. This is not about the outcome. It is about the energy of choosing itself. Practice this whenever you feel stuck between options, remembering that decision is the first currency of manifestation. Chapter 29. The Royal Tone. In an ancient village, there lived a skilled weaver named Marjorie Ann Blythe. Though her tapestries adorned the homes of nobility, she would bow her head and whisper, "I'm sorry to charge so much," whenever payment arrived. With each apology, her brilliant works seemed to lose their luster, as if her words cast shadows over their beauty. The universe speaks through patterns, and here lies a truth as old as the stars. True humility does not require the dimming of your light. Like a diamond that neither boasts nor apologizes for its brilliance, your gifts need only shine naturally. Consider Daniel Ross Fincher, a master craftsman who understood this delicate balance. When clients praised his exquisite woodwork, he would smile warmly and say, "Thank you for allowing me to share my craft." He neither diminished his talent nor proclaimed superiority. In the quiet acceptance of his worth, his workshop flourished, drawing patrons from distant lands who sensed the authenticity in his grace. Your abundance is not a burden requiring explanation or excuse. It flows as naturally as a stream, neither apologizing for its depth nor boasting of its course. When you align with this truth, prosperity recognizes itself in your presence. The ancient one knew, dignity attracts dignity. Like calls to light across the vast field of possibilities, your success serves as a beacon for greater opportunities, but only when you allow it to shine undiminished by false modesty. A second tale emerges from the mountain monasteries, where a humble monk created medicines that healed the sick. When offered gold in gratitude, he neither refused nor apologized, but accepted with quiet reverence. Knowing his acceptance allowed others to express their gratitude fully. His grace in receiving multiplied the healing power of his gifts. This wisdom echoes through time. Your prosperity serves a greater purpose. By honoring your worth without apology, you give others permission to claim their own abundance. Each time you stand in quiet confidence, you strengthen the collective field of possibility. Ancient practice. Find a private moment at sunrise or sunset. Sit with your spine straight, as if a golden thread connects your crown to the stars. Place your hands palms up on your lap, symbolizing graceful receiving. Breathe deeply and speak these words with quiet authority. I thank life for the privilege of thriving. I honor my abundance as it serves the greater good. Let this moment of alignment replace any urge to apologize for your prosperity. Repeat daily until quiet confidence becomes your natural state. Chapter 30. The Secret Signature. In a small village in the East where artisans plied their trade in humble workshops, Dora Nell Crenshaw hurriedly scrawled her name at the bottom of invoices and contracts. Her signature, a hasty scratch across the page, betrayed her inner doubt about her worth. Each time she signed a document, she unconsciously transmitted uncertainty into the universe, and her income reflected this hesitation. The law of energy speaks clearly on this matter. Every mark you make carries your frequency. Your signature is not merely ink on paper. It is your energetic declaration to the universal forces. When you sign with uncertainty, you authorize limitation. When you sign with authority, you command abundance. Willis Burt Townsend discovered this truth through an unexpected insight. One evening, as he prepared to sign an important contract, he paused. Instead of his usual rushed scribble, he took a deep breath and allowed himself to feel the full dignity of his name. He signed with deliberate strokes, each letter carrying his silent acknowledgement of his own value. Within weeks, opportunities that had long remained dormant suddenly activated. His proposals received swift approval, and clients who had previously hesitated now eagerly sought his services. This transformation reveals a profound principle. Your signature is your energetic seal upon reality. It is the moment when thought becomes decree, when potential crystallizes into manifestation. Each time you sign your name, you are not merely completing a transaction. You are issuing a command to the universe about your worth and what you will receive. When you recognize the power of your signature, every document becomes a sacred contract with abundance. Whether signing a check, a letter, or a major agreement, your signature should flow from a place of quiet authority. This is not about ego or grandiosity. It is about acknowledging the divine force that expresses through you. The wisdom of the ages teaches that recognition precedes materialization. When you truly recognize your own value, the universe mirrors this recognition back through increased prosperity. Your signature becomes the final seal that completes this energetic circuit. Ancient practice. Find a quiet moment before signing any document. Hold your pen and breathe deeply, allowing yourself to feel the full presence of your work. As you write your name, infuse each letter with conscious love, treating your signature as a royal seal that commands prosperity. Let each stroke flow with deliberate grace, knowing that you are not merely signing a document. You are authorizing abundance to flow through this channel of expression. Make this practice your daily ritual, and watch as the universe begins responding to your energetic authority. Part 4, The Unspoken Kingdom of Freedom. Chapter 31, The Cloak of Peace. In a bustling marketplace, a merchant stood behind her stall of exquisite silks, constantly glancing over her shoulder. Though her wares drew admiring gazes, Hazel May Reynolds shrank from attention, whispering, "What if they resent my good fortune?" With each sale, she dimmed her joy, believing happiness invited the evil eye. Her prosperity, though steady, felt fragile beneath the weight of her fears. The universal law speaks thus: like water, wealth flows smoothest through channels of peace. When you guard your blessings with anxiety, you construct barriers against their natural expansion. Fear becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, drawing the very experiences you wish to avoid. In the streets of the same city walked Floyd Neal Witherspoon, a jeweler whose success sparkled as brightly as his smile.
Yeah.
While others whispered about his rising fortune,
That's
he
the area that
his
hurts.
days with unwavering
Right now?
tranquility.
In and out.
The universe provides and protects in equal measure.
That is straight
He
though.
would
It's
remind
straight.
himself silently.
I don't think Shane hurt me.
His calm demeanor created an invisible shield, deflecting negative energies while attracting continued abundance. This wisdom echoes through ages. True protection springs not from defensive postures, but from unshakable inner peace. When you rest secure in your connection to universal supply, external opinions lose their power to disturb your prosperity's flow. Success sustained in serenity multiplies naturally, like a flower blooming without concern for who watches. The merchant's tales illuminate a profound truth. Wealth wrapped in worry attracts disruption, while fortune held in peace perpetuates itself. Floyd's tranquil acceptance of his abundance created a magnetic field that repelled interference while drawing more blessings. His story teaches that the strongest shield against envy is not vigilance but vibration, the steady frequency of someone at peace with their prosperity. In the realm of manifestation, your emotional state becomes your security system. Those who walk calmly in their success find themselves naturally protected, not by walls of fear, but by fields of harmony. The universe responds not to what you guard against, but to what you radiate with confidence. As these teachings unfold within you, remember, your serenity is your signature on abundance's contract. When you release the need to defend your blessings, you free them to multiply unimpeded. Ancient practice. Before sharing news of your achievements or displaying your success, pause to center yourself in deep tranquility. Breathe slowly while silently affirming, "I am blessed and safe." Let this feeling of protected peace envelope you completely. Only when this serene certainty fills your being, allow your good news to flow outward naturally. This practice ensures your announcements carry the frequency of ease rather than anxiety, attracting continued protection and prosperity. Chapter 32, The Gift That Returns Twice. In the bustling marketplace of an ancient city, Addie Ruth Talbot stood beside her flower cart, announcing each charitable deed. I gave 3 bouquets to the temple, she proclaimed to passers-by. Surely the gods will reward such devotion. Yet with each declaration, the flowers seemed to wilt faster, and her earnings dwindled. The winds of prosperity flow most freely through vessels of quiet virtue. When generosity seeks validation, it creates resistance in the very channels it aims to open. Like water finding its course, abundance moves naturally toward those who give without needing recognition. In the same city lived Horace Glenn Stidham, a humble baker who understood this truth. Each morning before dawn, fresh loaves appeared at the doorsteps of those in need. No note accompanied these gifts. No signature revealed their source. As months passed, mysterious fortunes began flowing into his life. New ovens arrived when his old ones failed. Premium ingredients found their way to his store at reduced prices, and wealthy merchants suddenly preferred his shop above all others. The universe operates through spiritual mathematics. What is given in silence multiplies in magnitude. When charity seeks no witness, it creates a vacuum that abundance rushes to fill. This is the paradox of unspoken generosity. The less credit you claim, the more credit appears in your cosmic account. Your giving becomes most potent when it remains between you and the infinite. Like a seed planted in dark soil, unwitnessed generosity grows into unexpected harvests. The very act of keeping your charity private demonstrates trust in universal law rather than human recognition. Through Horace's story, we glimpse this timeless truth. Prosperity follows those who give as naturally as breathing, without announcement or expectations. His silent offerings created unseen ripples that returned as waves of abundance. Sacred practice. Choose one act of generosity today that will remain forever unspoken. Let no one know of your gift except the universal mind. Feel the joy of giving purely, without attachment to recognition or reward. In this sacred silence, you activate the law of multiplication. What is offered in secret returns multiplied in the light. Chapter 33, The Silent Circle. In the shadow of a busy marketplace, Geneva Pearl Lanning stood alone, counting her meager earnings. Each night she returned home, feeling isolated in her journey toward abundance, her solitary affirmations echoing off empty walls. Though she spoke the language of prosperity, her words lacked the resonance that comes from shared understanding. The ancient wisdom whispers that wealth, like music, gains power when harmonious voices blend. As water drops unite to form an ocean, individual prosperity consciousness multiplies when hearts beat in synchronized faith. Your voice alone carries power, but when merged with others of matching frequency, it creates a symphony that the universe cannot resist. Clarence Wynne Pemberton discovered this truth by accident. Rather than joining the usual business network filled with desperate pitches and forced enthusiasm, he gathered 4 friends to garden each sunrise. They sat in contemplative silence, each holding a quiet vision of abundance for the others.
Your pawn shop.
No words of lack were permitted. No tales of struggle shared.
I gotta
Instead,
get a new
they
wheel.
simply basked in mutual appreciation
You got an
of
accident?
life's infinite
You
supply.
got an accident?
Within
Nah,
months,
I
their
just got a
silent
new
circle
wheel.
became a
That been
vortex of
starting to roll.
manifestation.
Ball?
Yeah, the wheel.
The tires.
Yeah, the tires.
Another's business doubled without
Nigga, cheap as fuck.
explanation.
You trying to get brand new?
New
Itself
side.
attracted
You trying to get some
three
brand
major
new or
clients
something?
who seemed
Fuck
to
no,
appear from
dude.
thin air.
It's a spot right there on Myrtle and
But in their shared
Golf
view of
Hill.
unwavering
Oh,
belief,
yeah. Where's he letting
this
go
mirrors
for?
an age-old practice where monks would
tight
meditate
shit,
together.
but he got a
Friends in his
whole set
garden
for like
each summer.
240.
Oh, definitely.
They sat in contemplative
All the
silence,
niggas. And new shits be they be about new.
abundance for the others.
Definitely. I think
No
I need to
words
get
of lack were
a
permitted.
alignment
No
too.
tales of struggle
That's what
shared.
keep them bitches up fast.
Instead, they simply basked in mutual appreciation.
I don't know if
of
Rainbow
life's
Muffler's
infinite supply.
still going, but
Within months, their silent circle became a
that cassette,
vortex of manifestation. One member received an
that's
unexpected
cassette.
inheritance.
Rainbow Muffler on
Another's business
cassette.
doubled
They be
without
doing the line and
explanation.
shit.
And
Like
Clarence
60
himself
cash.
attracted three major clients who seemed to appear from thin air. The power lay not in what they said, but in their shared field of unwavering belief. This mirrors an age-old practice where monks would meditate together, understanding that group consciousness creates an exponential rather than additive effect. Your personal prosperity thoughts are like a candle in the dark, beautiful and powerful. But when multiple candles burn together, they create a lighthouse beam visible from great distances. The key lies in selecting companions whose inner light matches your own. Seek those who naturally emanate gratitude, who speak of abundance without force or desperation. Together, your collective energy forms a magnetic field strong enough to draw prosperity from previously invisible sources. Remember, these gatherings serve not as platforms for networking or discussion, but as vessels for pure appreciation. Let your shared silence become a crucible where individual dreams merge into collective certainty. In this space of unified belief, the universe responds not to one voice, but to a chorus of unspoken abundance. Ancient practice. Find 2 or 3 others who understand wealth consciousness. Meet in a quiet place weekly. Spend 20 minutes in shared silence, each focusing only on gratitude and blessing the other's prosperity. Avoid discussion of goals or problems. Let your combined appreciation create a field of attraction that works quietly while you simply be together in faith. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. Now you understand why silence is not secrecy. It is sovereignty. When you quietly hold wealth within, you become an unmoving center around which opportunity.
1, 6, 7, 11, 60. These are not random digits. They are coordinates, a map to mastery, a code left behind by men who understood that wealth is not gained. It is unlocked. The 6 reveal what must be conquered before a man can command anything. The 6 faces of fear that stalk every human mind. The fear of poverty, of criticism, of loss, of old age, of ill health, and of death. Until a man names them, they will control him. Until he defeats them, he will serve them. The 7 unveil the powers of emotion. 7 forces that can either build an empire or destroy a soul. Every fortune, every failure can be traced back to these invisible currents. The wise transmute them. The weak are swept away by them. The 11 mark the qualities of true leadership. 11 habits of thought that raise a man above the masses. Discipline, vision, courage, imagination, loyalty, and more. They cannot be inherited. They must be built. The 16 hold the foundation, the original laws of success. 16 eternal principles that govern all achievement, from the humblest business to the vastest fortune. These are the cosmic laws that reward definiteness, faith, and persistence, and punish vagueness, doubt, and drift. But there is one more number, the first and the final, 1. I will not yet tell you what the 1 means, only that it is the beginning and the end of the key. Without understanding it, the others remain dormant. By the end of this message, you will see why every law, every emotion, every fear, every principle bends before it. Because the one you move on the board of life, the one you must make before time makes it for you. You have one life, one chance to think, to act, to create. You are playing chess against time itself, and if you do not move, you lose. So listen closely, because before this day ends, you will understand the hidden meaning of 1, 6, 7, 11, 16, and why the man who holds this master key no longer waits for wealth, he commands it. Every man is born seeking wealth, but the tragedy of life is that most search for it with hands untrained and eyes unseeing. They claw at the door of success with the wrong key and call the lock cruel. Wealth is not withheld, it is hidden in order. It waits in silence, watching to see which man has learned law, discipline, and faith enough to open it. The fool calls life unfair. The wise call it exact. Infinite intelligence does not play favorites. It rewards definiteness, obedience, and self-control. Never confusion, never chance, never drift. The key to riches was never lost. It was ignored, buried under fear, hidden by indifference, forgotten through idleness. The master key I now reveal has always been within reach, but only those willing to govern their minds may lift it. For thought is the true vault of wealth, and the mind is its keeper. The numbers 1, 6, 7, 11, 16 are not symbols of chance, but coordinates of creation. They are the stations of mastery through which every rich soul must pass. 1 life, 6 fears, 7 emotions, 11 steps of leadership, and 16 laws of success. Together, they form the perfect chain of mind control. Before a man can grasp the master key, he must first prepare the hand that will hold it. He must polish it through patience, strengthen it through faith, and steady it through purpose. For what use is a key in trembling hands? The man who tries to command wealth before commanding thought will soon be destroyed by what he acquires. The riches of earth serve only those who have first discovered the riches of order. Most men spend their days searching outward, begging for opportunity, envying others, waiting for miracles. But all riches are built inwardly first. The treasures of the world are nothing more than thought made visible. There is no factory, no empire, no monument that was not first born in the stillness of a man's mind. To think richly is to command matter itself. To think poorly is to enslave oneself to it. Andrew Carnegie, the man whose fortune first led me to uncover these laws, once told me, "Organize your mind, and the world will organize itself around you." He did not earn billions by labor, nor by accident. He constructed them by the leadership of thought. His mind was a workshop where ideas became plans, and plans became wealth. When asked for his secret, he smiled and said, "There is no secret, only law." The drifting mind cannot build. It spends its strength in confusion, starting and stopping, doubting and deciding, until all power is spent in indecision. The undisciplined man wastes 10 years in what the organized man accomplishes in 1. Fear, laziness, and half-hearted desire are the rust that eat away at the machinery of purpose. The first act of power is to think one thought until it becomes law in your soul. I say to you, wealth is not earned. It is revealed through obedience to law. You are not here to chase fortune. You are here to command it through faith and definiteness. Desire is the spark, faith the fuel, and action the fire. Without all three, the machine of creation stands still. Speak this now, and let it take root. I govern my mind. Therefore, I govern my world. You are the sovereign of your thought kingdom. You may rule it by faith, or you may abandon it to fear, but rule it you must, for no man escapes the reign of his own mind. The door to wealth will never open to those who carry in their hearts the vibration of complaint. It opens only to those who bring the right combination of mental states, desire to choose, faith to believe, and action to prove. The journey through the 1 to 6 to 7 to 11 to 16 will not merely teach you ideas, it will rebuild your being. It will melt your fears, discipline your emotions, awaken your leadership, align you with law, and finally reveal the one life that commands them all. But first, you must learn to listen, to think as creators think, to move with intention, to live as if every thought were a seed that would grow without fail. Do not try to climb the mountain by skipping its steps. The proud man who rushes to lead before conquering fear builds his house upon clouds. The impulsive who seeks emotion before discipline drowns in his own passion. Order is the heartbeat of the universe. Law rewards sequence. You must master the 6 fears before you can transmute the 7 emotions. You must command yourself before leading others. You must live in harmony with the 16 laws before the one life will unveil its full power. The master key is not an event. It is not a secret word. It is not a charm hung upon the neck or a phrase whispered in darkness. It is a sequence of obedience. It is thought obeying order, speech obeying faith, and action obeying decision. It is the trained harmony of mind, body, and spirit under the leadership of will. When these numbers, 1, 6, 7, 11, 16, move in harmony within you, the mind becomes the instrument of infinite intelligence. You will see how law, once understood, bends to your direction. You will cease to struggle with circumstance, for you will have found the lever that moves it. The man who possesses this key no longer fights life. He conducts it, as a composer conducts his symphony. Prepare yourself, therefore, for the first gate of mastery is not learning but cleansing. Before the key can turn, fear must be named and destroyed. Every ghost that whispers you cannot must be dragged into light. Only then will the lock yield, and the master key begin to turn. Now let us go forward. The door stands before you. The key waits in your hand, and on the other side of fear begins the order of infinite wealth. Before a man can command wealth, he must first conquer the 6 enemies that guard its gate. They are ancient and invisible, but their hold upon the human mind is stronger than chains of iron. They whisper in every failure, hide behind every hesitation, and steal from every dreamer his inheritance. These are the 6 ghosts of fear, the fear of poverty, of criticism, of ill health, of loss of love, of old age, and of death. They rule over every drifting soul. They have destroyed more fortunes than bankruptcy, more empires than war, and more men than disease. You cannot serve both fear and faith. One builds, the other destroys. Fear is faith reversed. It is belief in failure instead of belief in success. It is confidence in disaster rather than in law. When a man fears, he tells his mind to prepare for the very outcome he dreads, and the mind obeys. Fear is not a condition of circumstance. It is a decision of thought. Infinite intelligence is perfect order. It cannot reward confusion. Therefore, until fear is destroyed, success is impossible. Let us take them one by one and see how each may be slain. The fear of poverty. This is the master fear. It is the root from which the others grow. Poverty is not a lack of money. It is a state of mind, a belief in limitation, a confession of disbelief in abundance. The man who fears poverty always speaks its language. I cannot afford it. I am unlucky. I never have enough. His words become law to his subconscious, and his life obeys. But gratitude destroys this fear. No man can thank life for its riches and at the same time expect its scarcities. The habit of thanksgiving attracts increase because gratitude declares faith in abundance. Henry Ford began in poverty but never thought poor. He worked as a mechanic, but his mind lived among engines that did not yet exist. When told he lacked capital, he said, "I will build a motor for the multitude." He was laughed at, ridiculed, denied loans. Yet his faith was greater than their disbelief, and faith always builds what fear destroys. The fear of criticism, the second ghost of fear, born of vanity and sustained by weakness. Most men are slaves to opinion. They ask permission to be great. They spend their lives trimming their dreams to fit the narrow vision of the timid. Fear of criticism blinds ambition and kills originality. Yet the man who acts upon principle rather than praise cannot be disturbed. Edison was mocked for 1,000 failures before he was honored for one success. Had he listened to the crowd, he would have died in silence. The path to mastery is lonely, but its rewards are eternal. He who fears criticism never commands respect. He who ignores it earns it. The fear of ill health. This fear grows in the imagination and feeds upon suggestion. It is the favorite weapon of pessimism. The man who constantly speaks of sickness prepares his body to receive it. Every cell of the body obeys the mood of its master. Fear of disease weakens the body's natural defense, while faith in health strengthens it. The subconscious builds the condition that thought commands. The man who repeats daily, "My body is the temple of strength, my health is perfect," begins to feel vitality flow through his being. The wise man guards not only his food and his rest, but his words. The fear of loss of love. This fear springs from selfishness and the false belief that love can be possessed. The insecure man clings and controls. The wise man gives and grows. Love multiplies when given freely, but it decays when hoarded. Fear of loss drives men to jealousy, deceit, and cruelty, poisoning what it tries to protect. The one who understands love as an expression of divine abundance never fears its absence, for he carries it within. The fear of old age. This fear is born of idleness. The man who dreads growing old is already growing old in spirit. The mind never ages that continues to work, to serve, to learn. Age is not measured by years, but by purpose. Edison, long past 70, toiled 16 hours a day in his laboratory. Carnegie, near the end of life, built libraries for generations unborn. The man who keeps a definite purpose before him renews youth each morning. Service is the fountain of youth. The fear of death, the last and deepest of all. It is born of ignorance of eternal law. Death is not punishment, it is progression. It is the closing of one chapter and the opening of another. The wise man does not fear change because he understands that life is continuous motion. Fear of death makes cowards of men. Faith in immortality makes builders of them. When the soul knows its own permanence, courage becomes its nature. These 6 fears form a council of paralysis. They whisper endlessly, "Wait." They promise safety, but they deliver stagnation. Every timid heart has heard their counsel. Do not try. Be careful. Tomorrow will be easier. Yet tomorrow never comes for the man who listens to fear. The successful man answers with a single word: now. Each of these fears can be dissolved only by conscious discipline. The first step is recognition. Bring them out of hiding. Name them aloud. Write them down. Look at them until they shrink. Fear thrives in darkness. It dies in light. When you identify your fears, you begin to command them. Each night before sleep, speak these words: "No fear can enter my mind. I am the master of my emotion, the ruler of my fate." Speak slowly, with conviction. You are not begging courage. You are declaring law. The subconscious obeys whatever it hears often enough and with enough emotion. Fear is habit. Faith can replace it by stronger habit. Abraham Lincoln, surrounded by defeat, slander, and loss, walked through a life that would have crushed lesser men. When his generals disobeyed, his friends betrayed, and his country bled, he remained calm. That calm was not weakness. It was mastery. He knew that worry would destroy reason, and reason was the only bridge to victory. His serenity became the nation's strength. So it must be with you. Calmness is the armor of faith. When you refuse to tremble, fear flees. When you meet worry with stillness, it loses its weapon. Say to yourself often, I am unmoved, I am governed by law, not by fear. This is not denial, it is dominion. These 6 fears are not enemies outside of you, they are disobedient servants within. You cannot destroy them by will alone. You must replace them with faith, purpose, and gratitude. Each time fear speaks, answer with truth. Each time it imagines failure, picture success. Each time it recalls pain, remember power. Do not wait for courage to feel pleasant. Courage rarely feels pleasant. It begins in trembling but ends in triumph. The man who acts despite fear proves to his subconscious that faith is stronger. Each victory, however small, adds to your store of power. Defeat these 6 and the key will begin to turn. For fear is the only barrier between you and infinite intelligence. Once it is gone, the door to creation swings wide. You will see opportunity where others see danger. You will feel peace where others feel panic. Every law of success opens only to the fearless. Infinite intelligence entrusts its riches only to those who can hold them without trembling. Fear is the gatekeeper, but it steps aside for the man who walks forward in faith. You will know when you have passed this first gate. You will no longer ask, what if I fail? You will declare, I cannot fail, for law cannot fail. And then, for the first time, you will feel the master key warm in your hand, ready to be turned by emotion, the next power in your climb toward infinite wealth. There comes a moment in every man's education when he discovers that thought alone does not build. It must be felt into form. The mind creates the blueprint, but emotion furnishes the power. Without emotion, thought is a shadow without substance, a body without breath. Every dream that has ever been made real was first animated by feeling. And here lies one of the deepest secrets of creation. The heart is the engine of the mind. The 7 positive emotions are the forces by which thought becomes living power. Desire, faith, love, sex, enthusiasm, romance, and hope. Their 7 opposites, fear, jealousy, hatred, revenge, greed, superstition, and anger, are their destroyers. One set builds, the other demolishes. Every man is moved daily by one or the other. No one is neutral. The wise man learns to transmute emotion, to take its fire and give it direction. The weak man becomes a victim of his own storms, his energy burning his peace instead of illuminating his purpose. Emotion magnifies thought. Whatever you consistently feel becomes the law of your being. The man who allows himself to live in irritation multiplies conflict. The man who cultivates gratitude multiplies peace. Emotion is creative in both directions. The mind, like fertile soil, will grow whatever seed it is given, whether roses or thorns. Desire is the starting point of all achievement. Without desire, faith lies dormant and action remains still. Desire is the first motion of spirit within man, the divine urge to grow, to express, to advance. It is holy fire when controlled and destructive flame when wasted. Every fortune began as burning desire. Carnegie's empire of steel was the visible expression of one idea made definite and sustained by burning desire. Desire kept him awake at night, drove him through failure, and made him unshakable. When desire is definite, mountains move. Faith sustains desire. It is the continuous assertion that what one imagines must one day become visible. It transforms persistence into certainty. Without faith, desire flickers out under resistance. Faith is not hoping, it is knowing. It is that still inward voice that says, it shall be done, and refuses contradiction. Ford built his first car in a shed while the world mocked. His faith turned ridicule into empire. Love refines emotion. It purifies purpose. The man who works from love, love for his work, for mankind, for the expression of his power, cannot be corrupted by greed. Love turns effort into joy and converts service into art. When Edison Edison invented, he did so not to grow rich, but to give light to mankind. His inventions bore the stamp of love, and the world rewarded him beyond measure. Sex, misused, enslaves man, rightly directed it is genius. It is the most powerful of all emotions, the energy of creation itself. The great leaders of history transmuted it into willpower, imagination, and magnetism. This emotion, harnessed and lifted upward, becomes vitality of brain, charm of presence, and persistence of purpose. No man has ever achieved greatness without its fire, but no man has ever held greatness who failed to master it. Enthusiasm is faith in motion. It is the contagious energy that awakens others to vision. Enthusiasm cannot be fake. It is the vibration of conviction. Charles Schwab, whom I studied closely, possessed enthusiasm so radiant that men worked for him as if for themselves. It is the power that sells, the power that leads, the power that multiplies. The half-hearted man is already defeated. Enthusiasm is the sound of victory begun. Romance beautifies life. It is the poetic spirit that adorns thought with imagination. It lifts the mundane into the majestic. The practical man without romance becomes mechanical. The romantic man without purpose becomes a dreamer. But united, romance and definiteness make the genius who both imagines and builds. The man who can see beauty, even in hardship, will find opportunity where others see only struggle. Hope is the bridge between faith and patience. It sustains the mind when results delay. Hope is not idle wishing. It is spiritual endurance. When faith seems distant, hope whispers, "Hold the line. The dawn approaches." The man who can hope under darkness already owns the light. Now the 7 negative emotions are but the corruption of these same powers. Fear is faith corrupted. Jealousy is love poisoned. Hatred is energy turned backward. Revenge is misused courage. Greed is warped desire. Superstition is faith without understanding. Anger is enthusiasm gone mad. The energy in them is not evil. It is simply undirected. The wise man learns to transmute, not suppress. Transmutation means to redirect the current. When anger rises, turn it into determination. When fear whispers, turn it into alertness. When envy bites, turn it into admiration. Each emotion is a servant waiting for command. You are not to kill passion, but to govern it. Every night, review the day and ask what emotion ruled me. If it was negative, forgive yourself instantly and replace it. Imagine the positive opposite filling the same space. The subconscious accepts substitution through repetition. The mind cannot hold 2 emotions at once. Faith drives out fear as surely as fire drives out cold. Say this aloud before rest. My emotions serve me. I turn passion into power, fear into faith, doubt into direction. You will feel a great calm arise, not of weakness, but of mastery. It is the calm of the man who rides the horse instead of being dragged by it. It is the calm of command. Carnegie used enthusiasm to inspire an army of men who made his vision their own. Ford turned the emotion of ridicule into energy for invention. Edison turned frustration into curiosity and created from what others called failure. Emotion is the universal current. Wealth merely follows its strongest channel. Every word you speak carries the tone of your emotion. It either attracts or repels opportunity. Men are drawn to the cheerful, the confident, the determined, because these states vibrate in harmony with progress. The world flees from the bitter, the fearful, the irritable, because these states announce decay. Master emotion and you master magnetism. You will begin to see how opportunities, people, and events bend toward the man who radiates calm conviction. Infinite intelligence moves through emotion like electricity through wire. It requires a clear conductor. Negativity rusts the channel. Faith is polished. When you have learned this, your mind will no longer be divided. Thought will not fight feeling. They will unite. The heart and the head will move in one rhythm. That is the moment creation begins to obey. Speak this each morning and evening. I am the governor of my emotion. I feel richly, I think clearly, I act decisively. You will notice, time, that fortune moves toward you with increasing speed. People will remark on your energy, your presence, your influence. They will not know that it is the 7 emotions harmonized that they feel around you. He who commands emotion commands the forces of heaven and earth. He who is ruled by emotion is a slave, no matter how high his station. Choose, therefore, to feel deliberately, for emotion is power, and power, when directed by faith, becomes wealth itself. And now, having learned to rule the inner current of feeling, you are prepared for the next ascent, leadership, where the same mastery that rules self begins to rule circumstance and men alike. There is no higher discipline than leadership. To lead is to master not only thought and emotion, but to direct the minds and hearts of others toward a definite purpose. Leadership is organized mastery, the art of converting one's inner order into outward influence. And make no mistake, no man can lead another until he has first conquered himself. All great captains of destiny began as students of their own moods, habits, and motives. The undisciplined man cannot command obedience, for he himself still serves confusion. The strong may force submission for a day, but only the self-governed inspire loyalty for a lifetime. Leadership is not a gift, it is a construction. It is character, vision, and method built by repeated effort until mastery becomes nature. No man is born to command. He becomes a leader when his thoughts, emotions, and will are welded together by purpose. The soldier obeys orders. The leader creates them. The crowd moves in reaction. The leader moves in decision. The crowd drifts. The leader directs. He knows where he is going, why he is going, and how he shall get there. The 11 steps of leadership are not ornaments. They are the scaffolding upon which greatness is raised. Each supports the next. Neglect one and the structure collapses. These are the 11. Courage, self-control, justice, definiteness of decision, definiteness of plan, the habit of doing more than paid for, pleasing personality, sympathy and understanding, mastery of detail, willingness to assume responsibility, and cooperation. Courage is the foundation. It is not absence of fear, it is command over it. Courage acts while the coward calculates. Every decision worth making demands some risk. The cost of every step and never moves. The courageous man measures his faith and advances. Carnegie once said, "The men who have succeeded have believed in themselves when the world doubted." That is courage. Without it, leadership remains an idea. With it, it becomes law. Self-control follows, for courage without control becomes recklessness. The leader does not act in anger, pride, or haste. He governs his temper as he governs his troops. He listens more than he speaks. And when he speaks, his words carry weight because they are chosen. Ford was once provoked by his advisors to abandon the Model T. He listened to criticism in silence, but his self-control preserved his vision. His calm defied their logic, and history crowned his patience. A keen sense of justice is the third quality. Men will forgive mistakes of judgment, but never injustice. The just leader creates harmony because every man feels safe in his service. The unjust breeds rebellion. Lincoln governed with this principle. When generals failed him, he said, "If I send every man away who makes a mistake, there will be none left." Justice tempered with mercy commands loyalty deeper than any wage. Definiteness of decision is the sign of leadership matured. The undecided man loses respect. Opportunity waits for no hesitation. The leader gathers facts quickly, weighs them accurately, and decides firmly. Edison, after thousands of failures, never doubted his final success. His decisions were irrevocable, and that certainty bent even the laws of nature to his purpose. Decision is the soul of leadership. Indecision is its death. Definiteness of plan transforms decision into action. The leader does not drift on inspiration. He directs it with blueprint precision. Every every plan may change in detail, but never in purpose. Carnegie planned every expansion of his empire years ahead, yet remained flexible to circumstance. Planning does not imprison faith, it organizes it. Without plan, desire is fire without fuel. The habit of doing more than paid for creates magnetism. The man who renders more service than he is compensated for soon commands compensation beyond measure. The world cannot ignore overplus energy. This principle made Schwab indispensable to Carnegie. He did the work of 10 with the cheer of 1. The leader gives more than he takes, knowing that the law of compensation multiplies return through service. A pleasing personality is not vanity. It is harmony made visible. The leader's manner, tone, and bearing announce order. Men follow the one who radiates calm assurance. Personality is the fragrance of mental character. It cannot be feigned for long, but it can be cultivated. Smile from understanding, not from flattery. Speak with clarity, not volume. Treat every man as partner in purpose. The leader's magnetism is silent faith made flesh. Sympathy and understanding are the instruments of unity. The leader must see through another's eyes without losing his own vision. Understanding breeds cooperation. Indifference breeds resistance. When Carnegie was asked how he managed thousands of men without conflict, he replied, "I pay more for a man's ability to understand others than for his technical skill." To understand men is to command them. Mastery of detail anchors greatness to practicality. No leader can be above details, for order is born of precision. The great mind sees the mountain, but also counts the stones. Rockefeller built an empire because he could manage both figures and philosophy. Attention to detail guards against waste and sharpens execution. Every unguarded detail is a leak through which power escapes. Willingness to assume responsibility separates the commander from the clerk. The leader takes blame with courage and shares credit with humility. He does not wait for permission to act. The world steps aside for the man who says, "I will." Responsibility is the price of freedom. The man who dodges it remains forever a subordinate. Finally, cooperation binds all the others. The leader knows that no man succeeds alone. He surrounds himself with minds equal or greater than his own and aligns them in harmony. Cooperation multiplies power because it creates a mastermind, a third unseen intelligence born of united purpose. Carnegie's cabinet of industrial giants, men like Schwab, Frick, and Phipps, functioned as one will, directed by his vision. The man who can harmonize others has mastered himself completely. These 11 qualities, practiced daily, turn thought into empire. They are not separate virtues, but one continuous habit of organized power. Courage begins it. Cooperation completes it. Each supports the next, like stones in an arch. Remove one, and all collapse. Here is your exercise. For 11 weeks, take one quality each week and make it the theme of your days. Write it upon paper. Repeat it each morning. Apply it in every act. At night, record your progress. The subconscious builds leadership through repetition of disciplined thought. Character is not born. It is rehearsed until it becomes reflex. Speak this affirmation aloud each morning. I lead through service. I inspire through vision. I rule through understanding. Infinite intelligence governs my mind, and my example governs men. Repeat it until your bearing changes, your voice steadies, your eyes clear. You will begin to sense an invisible authority surrounding you. People will seek your counsel, trust your word, follow your direction. That is the mark of spiritual leadership. Leadership is moral architecture. The true leader builds invisible structures of confidence, loyalty, and purpose in the hearts of those he touches. He moves men not by command, but by conviction, not by fear, but by faith. When a man of definite purpose speaks, others feel the strength of law behind his words. They do not follow him. They follow the order that moves through him. Infinite intelligence entrusts power only to those who can govern it with wisdom. Wealth flows follows naturally to such a man because he represents law in motion. He does not chase riches. They assemble around him as soldiers gather to a general. And so, having built courage, control, justice, decision, plan, service, personality, sympathy, detail, responsibility, and cooperation, you now stand as architect of your destiny. You are prepared to study the structure upon which your leadership rests, the 16 laws of success, the foundation upon which all else must be built. Every enduring empire of mind or matter rests upon law. There is no fortune, invention, or achievement that has ever stood apart from it. These 16 laws are not theories, but eternal principles. They are the foundation upon which the master key is built, the pillars that hold up the temple of wealth. When a man lives in harmony with them, infinite intelligence moves through him. When he breaks them, life resists him until he learns obedience. The first of these is the mastermind principle. Power is born when two or more minds work together in harmony toward a definite aim. Every mind contributes its vibration, and the union of minds forms a third intelligence greater than all its parts. This is the secret by which Carnegie multiplied himself through men of genius. The one who works alone moves slowly. The one who works harmoniously with others moves with infinite power. The second is the definite chief aim. No man drifts into greatness. He must know what he wants, fix his whole mind upon it, and refuse to waver. The man without a goal lives by accident. The man with a definite purpose lives by law. Write your chief aim, read it aloud daily, and hold it until it burns into your heart. All other actions will fall into order, for the universe aids the man who knows his direction. The third is self-confidence. Faith in oneself is faith in the infinite within. Doubt paralyzes action. Confidence commands it. To cultivate this, remind yourself that every successful man began with uncertainty, but persistence made him sure. Ford once said, "Whether you think you can or think you can't, you are right." Belief is the force that turns ideas into deeds. The timid man never moves. The confident man moves mountains. The fourth is the habit of saving. Wealth is not chance, it is control. The man who cannot govern his money cannot govern his mind. Saving is not hoarding. It is proof of self-discipline. It teaches mastery over impulse and creates a foundation of security upon which faith can grow. The man who saves builds confidence. The one who spends all invites fear. The fifth is initiative and leadership. The man who waits for orders will always receive them. The one who acts first becomes indispensable. Initiative is the mark of creative intelligence. It separates the thinker from the dreamer. Every fortune began with one act of courage that others hesitated to take. Life advances those who take responsibility without being told. The sixth is imagination. The workshop of the mind is the birthplace of every empire. Imagination is the connecting link between thought and reality. It builds new combinations, new methods, new worlds. Edison's laboratory was imagination organized. Without it, man is machine. With it, he is co-creator with infinite intelligence. The seventh is enthusiasm. It is faith made visible. Enthusiasm inspires others and keeps one's own purpose alive. Without it, effort becomes drudgery and plan becomes burden. Enthusiasm feeds courage and magnetizes others to your vision. Schwab's cheerfulness and radiant belief made men work as though success were already theirs. The eighth is self-control. Power without control destroys. The man who can hold his temper can hold his fortune. Self-control allows the leader to think accurately under pressure. It is mastery of response, not suppression of feeling. It is the difference between impulse and wisdom. The disciplined mind commands the undisciplined world. The ninth is the habit of doing more than paid for. This single principle builds success faster than any other. Render more service than you are compensated for, and life must repay the balance. This law turns average men into masters, for it multiplies opportunity. The world is always in search of those who exceed expectation. Overservice is the seed of over-reward. The 10th is a pleasing personality. The mind expresses itself through demeanor. Courtesy, kindness, and sincerity are not weakness. They are power in gentle form. People are drawn to harmony and repelled by discord. The one who speaks with calm assurance and treats all men with respect is never without allies. The 11th is accurate thinking. Truth is the foundation of power. The wise man separates fact from opinion, cause from effect, and never mistakes emotion for evidence. Accurate thinking is moral courage in the realm of mind. It prevents waste of time, energy, and resources. The man who thinks clearly commands those who cannot. The 12th is concentration. The scattered mind achieves nothing. Power comes from focusing thought on a single purpose until it bends reality to its form. Concentration saves years of wandering. Edison concentrated 10,000 failures into one success. The sun warms, a lens ignites. The mind must be the lens of desire. The 13th is cooperation. Success is a symphony, not a solo. Every enterprise requires unity of effort. The leader learns to harmonize others as an orchestra follows its conductor. When minds meet without jealousy, energy multiplies. The solitary genius works with limitation. The cooperative thinker works with infinite multiplication. The 14th is failure as a teacher. Every defeat contains within it the seed of greater understanding. Failure tests faith, refines vision, and cleanses weakness. Lincoln lost election after election until persistence perfected him. There is no wasted failure unless it breaks courage. The wise man asks not, why me? But what lesson lies within this? The 15th is tolerance. The intolerant mind closes the door to growth. The wise know that truth wears many garments. To listen without hatred, to observe without judgment, is to learn continually. Tolerance expands the mind's reach and reveals opportunity hidden behind difference. The small-minded man fears change. The great welcomes it as teacher. The 16th and highest is the golden rule, the moral law that perfects all others. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. This is not sentiment, it is cosmic justice. Every thought and act returns to its source multiplied. To harm another is to poison one's own soil. To serve another is to plant one's own harvest. The golden rule turns business into brotherhood and converts success into peace. Together, these 16 laws form the skeleton of the master key. Each one is a principle of mental chemistry. When combined through faith and persistence, they form an unbreakable structure of success. To violate them is to invite struggle. To obey them is to live in harmony with infinite intelligence. Say to yourself daily, I obey the laws of success, and success obeys me. I am in harmony with law, therefore I move with power. Each law is alive. Each answers the call of the definite mind. You need not master them all at once. Choose one each week. Apply it until it becomes habit. The subconscious transforms repetition into character. In time, obedience becomes instinct. Then every action, every decision, every word will move with the rhythm of these laws. When these 16 laws become your nature, you no longer seek success. You embody it. Faith becomes certainty. Effort becomes joy. And wealth becomes the natural expression of order. You will see that law is not restriction but liberation. You are not bound by obedience, you are freed by it. He who lives by these laws aligns himself with infinite intelligence and cannot fail unless he quits. Wealth is not the accumulation of gold, but the arrangement of law. Every fortune is the shadow of mental order. Men call it luck or talent. Yet every enduring success is built by the same invisible structure. The wise man sees that riches are not earned by hands, but created by thought, organized by purpose, and sustained by faith. To possess wealth permanently, one must understand its architecture. All riches begin as organized thought. The subconscious mind is the builder. Infinite intelligence is the supplier. Man provides the plan. The master key, 1, 6, 7, 11, 16, is that plan. It teaches him to conquer fear, command emotion, lead through order, obey law, and live with definiteness. Each number is a beam in the structure of prosperity. When united, they form a system through which abundance flows naturally. The careless man prays for opportunity while breaking every law that invites it. He thinks one thing, feels another, and acts upon a third. His mind is a house divided. The architect of wealth first brings his own mind into harmony. He builds within before he expects results without. Infinite intelligence cannot flow through confusion. It moves only through definiteness, precision, and faith. Carnegie built his empire from a single vision: steel organized to serve the world. Each night he repeated that image until it burned into his subconscious. In time, the right men, means, and ideas gathered around him as though drawn by magnet. Edison trusted his mind to solve what reason could not. He said, "I never failed once. I found 10,000 ways that did not work." That is the patience of faith, the persistence of law in motion. The master key operates like machinery. The 6 clears the rust of fear, for fear jams every wheel of progress. The 7 supplies emotion, the current of power. The 11 governs control, the skill to direct. The 16 lays the foundation of structure, the principles upon which all rest. And the 1 stands above all, reminding man of his single life, his definite time, his duty to act. Together they form the perfect engine of creation. Think of your mind as a workshop. Each thought is a tool, each emotion a spark. The careless worker blunts his tools and burns his materials. The wise craftsman sharpens them daily through study, silence, and self-discipline. He designs carefully before striking. He measures twice, cuts once. Wealth is the art of measured thought. When thought is precise, the result must be prosperity. Affirm this daily. I think in order, I act with purpose, I receive with gratitude. This is the creed of the mental builder. Thought is order. Action is its extension. Gratitude is its completion. Gratitude keeps the current flowing, for it declares faith that abundance already exists. The man who complains shuts his door to opportunity. The man who gives thanks opens it wider each day. Infinite intelligence is impersonal. It rewards obedience, not personality. It does not choose favorites. It chooses definiteness. The farmer who plants good seed in good soil receives a good harvest, regardless of creed or nation. The laws of creation work the same for all who apply them. This is justice in its purest form. No man can plead special favor before law. He can only align or oppose it. Faith gives thought its body. Desire gives it direction. Action gives it proof. Gratitude gives it permanence. These 4 are the pillars of invisible architecture. Together they transform ideas into results. Remove one, and the structure collapses. That is why drifting men experience flashes of success, but no permanence. They skip steps in law. Consider Rockefeller. His fortune was not chance. He built harmony between vision and organization. He said, "I always tried to turn every disaster into an opportunity." That is obedience to law, not luck. He understood that infinite intelligence never wastes energy. Every setback is correction. Every obstacle an instruction. Wealth obeys the calm observer who adapts instead of fears. The structure of infinite wealth demands balance. One cannot build only for gain. To hold riches, a man must use them for the growth of others. Selfishness corrodes the structure. Service strengthens it. The master key turns fully only when the desire for wealth is linked with purpose greater than self. This is why the greedy fail and the generous endure. Every thought, word, and act is a brick in your structure. The wise lay them consciously. The foolish toss them carelessly and wonder why their walls fall. The rich in mind think in blueprints. The poor think in fragments. Write your plan, study it, refine it, and build upon it daily. The subconscious mind accepts repetition as reality. The plan you impress with emotion becomes the world you live in. You cannot chase wealth. It flees from pursuit. You must become wealth in thought. Align with its vibration by acting as the man who already possesses it. Think abundance. Speak confidence. Live discipline. Then, without effort, wealth obeys your state of being. As iron follows the magnet, opportunity follows definiteness. The hidden architecture of infinite wealth is not found in banks or markets, but in mental chemistry. When your thoughts harmonize with these laws, results appear without strain. You will notice events aligning, people arriving, resources multiplying. Others will call it coincidence. You will know it as obedience. For infinite intelligence always fulfills the plan drawn in faith. Say this tonight before rest. I have built my thought upon law. I have no fear, no doubt, no resistance. Infinite intelligence completes my plan while I sleep. Repeat it until faith replaces effort. You will awaken each morning guided by ideas, inspired by confidence, surrounded by signs of growth. You now understand that wealth is not gained but constructed. Fearless thought, disciplined emotion, obedient leadership, and alignment with law, these form the four walls of the temple. And within that temple stands the altar of the one life. The realization that time is your final capital, and its wise investment opens eternity. Thus prepared, you are ready for the next revelation, the mystery of the One. For when a man truly comprehends his single life,